I'm here to tell you why international and out-of-state students should care about Washington State's budget cut. It may seem as if what happens in Washington is only applicable to residents, but the effects of the budget cut trickles down to everyone. In order to compensate with less state funding, schools will raise tuition. Currently, out-of-state and international undergrad students pay 3 times more than in-state undergrad students. I don't know about you, but when I pay more, I expect more when it comes to quality. Unfortunately, with cuts to our budget, that equates to larger class sizes, fewer courses being offered, certain majors and minors no longer available, less resources such as writing centers, advisors, and less opportunities such as teacher assistant jobs. It will, however, mean that out-of-state students and international students will be accepted in greater numbers. Now you see, Washington's budget affects each person in a different way, and it is time for students to step up and speak out about what they need from their schools. State legislators decide how much tuition goes up for in-state undergrad students, but the Board of Regents have the final say over how much tuition will increase for international and out-of-state undergrads and graduate students. So here's what you can do. Gather your international and out-of-state friends and start a coalition. The more organized you are, the more legitimacy you guys will have in terms of representing student voice. Also, you will have more visibility and the administration will be more willing to listen. Getting organized can also help with determining common issues, common solutions, and developing a unified message. So take time to visit or write an email to the Office of Global Affairs. Their focus is primarily on studies and research abroad by students and faculty, but maintaining positive relations for international students is also on their agenda. So getting in contact with the Vice Provost of the Office of Global Affairs, Stephen Hansen, is another great step. If you didn't know, Phi Utes is a nonprofit organization here at the University of Washington that focuses on international understanding and would be a great place for international students to visit to find support and community. With the budget shortfalls, more international and out-of-state students will be accepted to UW. So, as your percentage increases, the need to hear your concern increases. Every university has a problem of connecting with their international and out-of-state students. So be the first to reach out to the administration. They'll be glad to hear from you. Now we will go to an interview with Ben Golden, the student regent. Who should international and out-of-state students talk to voice their concerns?
All students have student government representatives, and I would recommend that they would be the best people to advocate for them. So international and out-of-state students should first look through the student government. Student government cultivates positive relationships with the university administration and with the state legislature. And those are the 2 primary decision makers in terms of where the money is going to come from for the university.
By student government, you mean the ASUW?
ASUW for undergraduates and GPSS for graduate students. Those are going to be where you elect your representatives to fight for you on campus.
What's the best method? Should they set up a meeting, write a letter, or should they make a phone call?
All of the above. A phone call, email is probably the most passive but the easiest way to contact somebody. In-person meetings are best. If you're trying to just share your personal story and get answers to all of your questions, that's probably the best way to go about it. But everything, diversity of tactics will really help get your voice out there and help you get answers.
And how important is it that international and out-of-state students voice their concerns?
Very important. Everybody at the university is an important stakeholder. You hear about in-state student concerns the most. Historically, the University of Washington has been predominantly Washington citizens, and the bargain has been Washington taxpayers will use some of their tax money to pay for higher education, to pay for the UW, and that will subsidize tuition. That's why in-state tuition is relatively low compared to out-of-state and international students' tuition. But that's changing as the state spends less and less money on higher education. The UW is looking at a lot of different ways to maintain the quality of their education, looking at different revenue sources. So what we're seeing right now is the number of out-of-state and international students is slowly going up because international and out-of-state students pay so much more. And so as international and out-of-state students become a larger stakeholder on campus, it's more and more important that you make sure your voice is heard and part of that discussion. So hear about that 14%, where that's what the tuition is this year, what the hike is going to be, and that's what's been, the fight has been in Olympia. But on campus, through your student government, you can make sure that out-of-state international student voice is heard and let them know that tuition is pretty high for the other 25% of undergraduates and rising.
And can you state your name and your position?
Sure, my name is Ben Golden. I'm the University of Washington's only student on the Board of Regents.
Thank you so much, Ben.
Sure, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ruji, and I'm a sophomore in the University of Washington. I'm an international student, and I'm here on the campus with my student visa. And being an international student, I'm not eligible for scholarships, work study, and basically any sort of financial aid. And not being aware of how much our tuition raises, it's a really big burden to us and also to our families, because they are usually the primary means of funding for our colleges and university. And with tuition constantly raising, we can't afford housing, food, and if it increases too much, I don't know if I can afford to go to the University of Washington anymore.